So let's look at a few news stories. So Google announced, let's see, move this closer. Google announced that you can use their artificial intelligence, I guess Bard, to search through your email box. And of course, the first thing it's going to do is make up emails that don't exist because it's full of hallucinations. So a journalist tried it out, and it took an email that he had received and interpreted and made up one that he had sent saying stuff he never said. So that's what I think we all expected. So I watch America and China get more and more hostile to each other, and I believe I understand why China is doing it. Because Xi Jinping is in a fragile position, losing his authority and power because of economic problems, and he therefore needs to distract his people by blaming things on external forces to hold power over them. I'm not sure I really understand why the American leaders are going along with this and increasing their hostility towards China, which seems like it can go nowhere good. But anyway, we are, especially this person who I think is our trade executive commerce executive. I've heard some amazingly tactless and cruel statements from her right after a trip to China, where they said, the Chinese say we're trying to hold their military back. And she said, yes, it's absolutely holding our military back because we're hostile to them. Right after she made a trip to China that just seemed pointlessly cruel and tactless and intended to just deliberately make China mad. And she's still at it. We have to be absolutely vigilant that not a penny of this helps China get ahead of us. So just like Republican administrations all my life have appointed like a person in charge of the interior and the environment who works for like the oil companies and just wants to destroy the environment, the Biden administration seems to have put somebody in charge of our commerce with China that just wants to start a war with China. So I'm not pleased to see it all warming up. I imagine there are large forces causing this, but I don't think anything good is going to come out of it. Anyway, this is amazing. Young people, those under 50, have had a 79% rise in cancer over the last 2 decades, and they analyze it here and try to figure out what's caused it. And they say some of it might possibly be increased amount of screening and detection, but it's mostly because of the obvious stuff, more smoking, more consumption of alcohol, and things like that. Let's see, global perspective, demographics, regional variations, causes. Physical inactivity, excess weight, high blood sugar, red meat and salt, alcohol consumption, tobacco use, so the usual stuff, although I wasn't aware all those things had changed so much, but maybe they have. Anyway, that's pretty scary. It means a whole lot more of the young people are going to have to deal with cancer. Hello? H-E-K? Hekit, I think? All right. Everybody uses fake names. I never know who anybody is. Anyway, so Elon Musk, he holds his stock price up by cannot get into NeuroGames, a thought experiment. Well, I don't know what that means. Anyway, so Elon Musk, in order to keep his stock price high, he just has to make himself headlines about himself every day or two, so he's always in the news, which is also something Donald Trump does, so he has to do something stupid. So now a San Francisco supervisor said he wants to have a program where the city puts out flyers and stuff telling people don't leave stuff in your cars because we have all the car break-ins. And Elon Musk says he's going to contribute a bunch of money to defeat this supervisor and get rid of him because that's not the right thing to do. Instead, he should do something about the break-ins, which, of course, they should also try to do, but they've been trying for decades and not succeeding too well. Anyway, it's the typical shooting from the hip stuff. Another thing I think is important to mention is just like Donald Trump, when Elon Musk promises money, he usually never delivers it. Donald Trump promised to donate his salary and then he didn't do it. He promised to fund people's legal bills and then he didn't do it. He's always full of big promises and then not bothering to follow through on any of them. And I think Elon's largely the same. Anyway, but that's his latest shooting from the hip. Something about Hacker Dojo, NeuroGames. All right, I don't know what's going on in Hacker Dojo. All right, all right. So PG&E is going to raise the power bills soon in order to pay to try to bury all their power lines underground, which I understand because there was a court decision made a few years ago in the big fire that ruled that PG&E would be regarded as legally liable for all fires in California, even if they never could prove that their lines caused it. So that gives them a really powerful incentive to try to make it so their lines can't start a fire, and burying them would do that, although it's very expensive. So we'll see if they do that. And so Cal State is going to pump up their tuition even more. This is, I hear a lot of Scott Galloway podcasts about this. What he says is oh, there's a Pacific Hackers meeting today. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, so the tuition hike, the whole college industry has been raising prices and putting people in big debt, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And one thing that Scott Galloway says, who's an expert in this stuff, is that what's going on is the elite colleges want to hit the ratings by U.S. News and World Report, and those ratings rated your college higher if you were exclusive. So the more students you turn away, the more you rate higher, and raising prices is an easy way to turn students away. So they're trying to reform that. And anyway, there's just been a huge trend over the last decades to just make college more and more expensive and out of reach for everybody. And I think also there's a big trend that college doesn't matter that much. You asked them if they would do a Zoom link, and they said yes, but there is no link, so sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on with Pacific Hackers. All right, and so tech founders are renting just a room with a bed and nothing else to sleep in, sort of what looks sort of like a college dorm room kind of situation, in order to save money, they say, but also so they're rubbing shoulders with other founders. So, it sounds pretty reasonable to me. People would stay at the YMCA and such. It seems like what you do when you just want to get a lot of work done is you don't really need much of a home. You just need a place to crash. And then you want to go into shared spaces to talk to people. And somebody on Twitter was saying this is crazy. Why would a tech startup have to be in San Francisco anyway? And I think the reason they have to be here is to get venture capital funding. I think you have to impress the venture capital people with your seriousness, and being in San Francisco is a way to do that. Anyway, let me stop this recording of news.